Are you ready to take a look at some of our national and international headlines for this Friday morning? We begin with a source that used to be a joke, the Pravda newspaper in Russia. In fact, there was an old Russian joke that said, if you read it in Pravda, you know it's not true. The reason why it's a play on words, of course, is that Pravda is the Russian word for truth. Anyway, the Pravda newspaper is now an actual news source. They carry it's part of the text of Obama's letter to the American people as he talks about how he built a new America and has laid the foundation for the future as he's handing over the nuclear button. The latest report on Russian hackers has been given to Obama, but we are not expecting any kind of response from Obama on this. Meanwhile, U.S. spy chief is promising to release by the end of the week, I think by tomorrow, that proof not only of the Russians doing it, but of Putin ordering it, and along with that, a motive for him doing this. But they're falling short of saying it's an act of war. There also is some admission that the United States has been and is continuing to do the same thing. There was an explosion near a courthouse in Turkey in the little city of Izmir. 3 people injured and the bomber killed. Also, it looks like Turkey is expelling NATO aircraft from the Incirlik air base. The nightclub attacker in Istanbul, remember New Year's Eve, has apparently been identified, but we don't have his name yet. And the authorities are still working on that. Also, there's a piece in Pravda noting that the so-called Defenseless Europeans have been abandoned by their authorities because of decades of lax security. BBC notes that bin Laden's son Hamza is not only actively engaged, you got to get the air quotes for that, actively engaged in terrorism, but they have now put him on the terror list for the United States. And apparently there's a riot going on in St. Petersburg today with the truckers actually going on strike, protesting by blocking the way onto and off of a toll road because they want to use it without having to pay for it. And lastly, on the national scene today, yet another threat from President-elect Trump, this one to Toyota, saying that either they build a plant in the United States or face really impressive tariffs. That's right, the tariffs are going to go way up. High taxes for Toyota if they do not build a plant in the United States. That's what we've got for our national and international news. Make sure you check out my commentary today, which focuses on the issue of awakening. Are you awake? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? Check it out and tell me what you think. Steve at radiofreespeech.com. Become a supporter either at Patreon or through a direct subscription at the website, radiofreespeech.com. Thanks. Tell your friends.